What's going on, guys? Christian here from CK Wraps. Today I'm going to wrap the door on this Lamborghini Huracan in Colorfusion Gloss Chalk Gray. This is a cosmetic paint protection film, self-healing, almost impermeable to stone chips. Can be damaged, of course, with a hard enough impact, depending on what's hitting it and what's being tossed at it. But again, this car already has a layer of clear paint protection film over top of it, which is actually making the wrap, the Colorfusion wrap, not look its best. There's texture to the clear, and I wanted to point this out. There's texture to the clear, and if you look at the roof, it's actually gloss black PPF. It looks much clearer than the clear PPF, which is on the side of the car here. And that's actually throughout the hood and fender and so forth. So because this clear has texture in it, it's actually already there. And when I put the chalk gray over top, it's adding in more texture to it. So it is what it is. Could look a little bit nicer if it didn't have that clear layer of PPF underneath it, but like I said, it is what it is. Piece is already prepped, so you see that I've masked off the door handle. It can be removed. It's a little tricky to remove it. It's not necessary. It fits very tightly, and I prefer, honestly, to just tuck in and around it as opposed to wrap in all the way around and then put the handle back in and then risk twisting of the film over time. This is a little bit thicker, so when I add in 2 layers, one from the handle and one from the door side, they end up touching each other. So it's a little bit thicker than most cast materials, even a lot of polymerics, because it is paint protection foam, right? So that thickness is there to protect the paint itself. Otherwise, we're gonna be doing this with a wet apply again. I have slip solution ready, I have tack solution ready, and my squeegee pouch, I actually put it down, here it is. I also blow off the area with compressed air. So compressed air in here especially, because that's a pocket and a lot of dirt and debris sits in that area where the mirror normally sits. It's a lot of fun taking the mirror off of this car. You have to pop the window out, and that requires taking the door panel off, of course. And again, similar to a wet PPF install. So I'm gonna peel up a corner. I've got enough length on both sides. Let's drop the material down a bit. I'm gonna peel up this corner here. Tomorrow we're gonna end up coming in and finishing off the edges of this panel, the door, the front fender as well. Let's continue to roll the film off. You don't wanna put yourself behind the film or where the adhesive is. You wanna be on the color side. This way, anything that's drawn off of your clothing isn't drawn onto the adhesive side of the film. I'm gonna squeegee it down and pull the liner off from the other side. Just make sure I have enough there. Yeah, we're borderline, but we're good. Okay, stick that down there, and then it'll be easier to pull the liner off from this side. See how easy the PPF pulls off of the PPF? Because it's hydrophobic. I'm gonna be a little bit careful pulling this, take my time. So I don't want to pull it off the fender at this point. When that hits the floor, it'll be really dirty and that will be really bad. Okay, almost there. Oh. Probably doesn't have to be this wet. I just, I'm going a little over the top. Makes things easier sometimes. Sometimes it makes things harder. Okay, just let that sit there or let that rest, okay? Okay, we're gonna spray the surface down. Again, you can see how the film just sort of sits in its place. We're gonna reset this side just slightly because it's a little bit off. That means just lifting it up and just basically keeping it slightly tight and placing it back down. Try to have it go down as smooth as possible so there's no fingers or wrinkles. Look at that, it's beautiful, right? All right, from the body line, we're gonna work fluid up. So right from the body line, okay, come back across this way. I just opened that end to see what was going on. Pull this slightly tight where the mirror section is, right there, so we can get the film nice and tight around where this protrudes. And if you want to make things a little simpler, all you're going to do is cut around this section that's sort of sticking up right here. Just be careful, be mindful of where your edge is. But this will help the film come off of these things that are sticking up, which is causing it to bubble slightly. So right here. Where are we? There's the edge of the door. It's tricky because the PPF's over here. Like I can see, they didn't obviously remove the mirror when they did the PPF. Though the mirrors have been removed already once. The mirrors were painted black, and they were removed. To do that, I actually could tell because there was a screw missing in the door. And whoever removed it broke the clip, somewhat broke the clip to the window, what holds the window in its place. It's not broken, it still works, but there's a broken part to it. Anyways, stuff to document along the way. Keep yourself protected when you're wrapping vehicles for paying customers. Okay, let's put a little bit more slip on that surface there. There we go. Longer passes now. There we go. Let's fix up right here. Right up to the top. Having slip solution on your surface is big time important. It causes less friction or less drag, so it doesn't lift the film off when you're squeegeeing. If you have too much friction, what can happen is your squeegeeing can actually undo your work because the film hasn't set yet. It hasn't stuck down to the surface yet. So if I have too much friction with my squeegee right here and I push and I squeegee out the fluid and there's too much friction, there's no slip on here, what can happen is because it's not tacked down here properly, I can end up pulling the film down. Hopefully that makes more sense. Okay, I'm gonna pull this slightly tighter down here, right there, just to get that corner right here a little bit more rounded. There. And these fingers happening right here are just due to the fact that the handle's sticking out. So we take the film, pull it tight-ish. Where are we? There's a quarter panel over there. And we're not stretching the film at all. It's like, I mean, we are, but barely anything at all. The door gap is right here. That's good. Just keep going down. Undo here. There we go. Again, you're going to want to go over this. This is a large area. We don't want to leave any fluid behind. Like I said, you can leave some behind, but realistically, it's just much better to make sure you don't have anything left behind. This way you don't have to worry about if it's going to go away or not. I prefer to be thorough right from the get-go. This way I don't have to think about what's going to happen later. Okay, there's the bottom of the door. Always want to be as comfortable as you can. See, most of the time I'm doing a petting motion, but when I get to the edges, I do a pushing motion. What I would like to do ideally is get this section done and then open the door, leave the edges exposed overnight, and come back, roll everything around, do my cutting for the rest of it, all done. This cut here should be doable. Like I said, the film goes down flawlessly. Okay, so let's go here. Not spraying too hard right now because I don't want to soak the interior of the car, obviously. Windows out, so I don't really have a choice. And if I want to wrap the door without a seam above the mirror, the mirror has to come off. Okay, there we go. So that's flushed. Okay, that's going down pretty nicely. I'm going to point out another critical area to watch out for. I'll show you, which is what I noticed in a second. So let's keep getting that pre-tucked in there a bit. It's working out smoothly. A critical area to watch out for is the door handle area right here. This is dripping slip solution out underneath our film right now. So what I want to do is I want to cut this out, and I put double layer masking tape just so I have to pierce the film, right? So the film away from the handle very lightly. Make sure I know where my edge is always. Right there. And then I'll be able to get tack solution in there, and that'll help that sort of set overnight around the handle. I'm gonna come back around here. Okay, that's gonna go away right now, watch. See? Tack solution's beautiful. Making sure nothing's dripping down still, it's good. I mean, this can dry entirely overnight. I wanna get as close to the edge as possible. This way, when it does dry, there's zero chance of having any type of glue line going around that section. So then it will look its best. Good, pretty good. What I can do is also I can just cut on the opposite edge here, score the film, which is okay because I have double the layers of PPF. I'm not going to cut into my PPF, and especially not the clear PPF. So we can cut on the opposite side here, which is way more stable because we're cutting on a hard surface. And all we're doing is scoring the film. Scores the exact same way as clear PPF does. Okay, so watch. There we go. And where did I go to? Right about there. That's it. One last area I can do right now is here. All I need to do is just trim right on the very edge here. The mirror sits like, I'm sure you saw the dirty line, or you might have seen the dirty line there where the mirror was sitting. And then this is the edge of the clear PPF, which looks like trash, but whatever. It's gonna drive me nuts that I'm wrapping over top of it, but it's not the first time I've had to do stuff like this. It's just something that is part of the game when you start wrapping. Coming down here. And as far as the cutting goes, I'm gonna probably, again, that's gonna stay like this overnight. Am I worried that a fly is gonna land on the edge? That's a good question. Someone's probably thinking it. Yeah, I mean, it could happen. I don't have any flies in the shop right now, so, I mean, I do get the odd one here and there, but if they touch it, they touch it, then I deal with it in that moment. Probably have to rewrap it depending on how bad it is. Otherwise, I'm not worried about any other contamination hitting this overnight. The edges are mostly like, rolled over a bit, so nothing's really gonna touch it. That's gonna make it not stick or look terrible or anything along those lines. And we're back, next day, okay? Door time. Edges are all dry, checked everything, made sure everything was gonna stick and stay down. Could have done this yesterday. Only takes like an hour or so, but whatever. It was so close to the end of the day yesterday. We're gonna do the between the gap here of the door and the fender. So let's warm that up. Just in case the film wants to relax. Again, it never moves. It would have moved overnight. I'm gonna go over with my finger first. That helps round off that edge really nicely. And then what I'm gonna do now is get in there with my squeegee. We'll get in there with the hard edge, making sure that we're being very thorough and like Pac-Manning that in there, just keeping it somewhat warm for that added pliability. Beautiful, okay? So that edge is more or less ready to go. Just come in underneath just like that. And what I did is I just kind of pre-tuck that. And let's just take everything and roll it by hand right now. Prefer to use my fingers first because that helps get all the air out from the edge. So whenever you can use your fingers with a glove on, it's ideal. Just running my blade on the inside of the door. And then that, I'm pretty sure it's just excess material. Boom. Tiny bit to fix up there, but that's it. Just push that down with a little bit of heat. Here, it's a little bit easier to lead with the heat gun. Good. Great. Now I'm gonna keep going around. We're gonna add a bit of heat to that. Okay, let the film just settle and then massage it, okay? So now you can see the split where the PPF is, where they did the PPF, right there at the corner. They just do a little split. It's very, very common. At least they went around the edge. You can definitely appreciate that, because doors get whacked on this edge all the time. So it's important to go around that edge. But even when I do clear PPF, I never do that. I'm able to actually go around. Just takes a bit more work, but not much, like another minute or two. Okay, being super thorough. Okay, so that's basically good to go. And we're gonna come right around all our wrinkles right here, our little bunching of material, just like so. Cool. And then continue along. Again, just make sure that my film is in position. It's a little tricky with their PPF there because I can feel the edge of theirs. It's making my cut jump slightly. I should actually turn my hat backwards so you guys can see better. There we go. Okay, again, I'm just trying to stay out of your way and do this. Should come out pretty clean though. I feel like it's coming along nicely. Okay, let's go over the edges with heat. Then we'll do the top, door handle, and then it's done. So you can see, like, I kind of jumped with theirs. You can see their PPF right there. That's their edge. Mine didn't go in as far. They have to go in a little bit further with clear. We don't have to go in as far with color. I could clean that up with just my knife afterwards, just so you're aware. But for now, it could have come out just like this all the way down. Would have been super clean. Jumped a little bit. Like I said, their PPF is sitting there, so not a problem. It'll come out clean in the end. Now let's move on to the top edge. I'll close the door a little bit to the next hinge point. There we go. Let's do the corner up here. Simple heat massage, okay? So you can hear the film pulling, or the trim pulling away from the PPF, and just Pac-Manning that in there. Okay, let's do the cut. We're not gonna start right at the very end, we're gonna start here. Always double, triple check your work. Make sure you're comfortable with cutting, or when to cut. PPF's not straight here, it's gonna jump. It's okay, any extra I can tuck in. I have to start cutting this way now because it's just easier for me. Knife's fitting in there pretty nicely. You can pull the trim back and you'll get a bit more space, see? I should have just started cutting from this way because it's easier for me actually. It'd be easier if you're right-handed. I know I overlapped, I'm just making sure I have a nice clean cut. Okay, that should be good. I'll just double check it one more time, because this will be a really obvious area if I miss it. It's right at the end of the door. Someone might not see down there, but so do the corner here first. Get a bunch of heat on that, boom. And again, you can see the split where they did the clear PPF. So there's a little square cut out right there where my thumbnail is. There's a little square cut out right on the very top edge. Okay, let's do this corner over here, and then we'll do the door handle, and then we're done. So a heat, massage, just on that top section, boom. Dude. Yeah. All right, we want to pre-tuck all of this. So we're going to lift the film off just like this. I didn't check this area, but it should be dry. It should be pretty dry. There we go. That's beautiful. We can see that we're getting in there pretty nicely now. Sometimes you just have to do a section at a time, meaning like you can't do the whole thing. You just got to do a section and then cut and then do another section and then cut. Show you what I mean by that. Just lift off this corner here and get that tucked in there. It's just enough space to get tucked in. And you can see the film flipping out. That means it's getting tucked in there pretty nicely. Let's try and get that corner up there a bit better. There we go. And then the same thing with this corner here. And then I'll cut from there to approximately there. Putting a lot of pressure. I'm not going to puncture the film. It's extremely rare. You'll tear it if you have a cut or a split in it before you'll puncture it. Okay, so that should be good there too. Let's fold that down so we can see. Cool. We're gonna get right into where I can see mostly. So I'm not right at the very end, I'm just sort of right around here. You can see that gap, and my blade is gliding just like butter. Okay, I'm going very slowly, I'm not forcing anything. And you can see I don't have a lot of my knife in there because it will only go in there so far before you start hitting something, right? So you don't want to go too far in. We're just trying to get the film. So I'll come up slightly around that corner there. We're gonna do a slit here and separate it so we can go one way and one the other way. Good. We're gonna go over that afterwards. You're gonna see a little bit of white paint there. That's just the handle because I didn't mask the entire handle. Good. Like I said, I have taken this handle off before, but I just couldn't remember. I've done it a few times, but I just couldn't remember, and I just didn't feel like spending an hour when I know that it's pretty easy to wrap around considering it's very flat. And it doesn't require me to do any seams or extra pieces or anything like that, so the wrap still comes out looking perfect as long as I get it tucked in there. Okay, so we can come around. Using two hands for stability so I don't slip. Okay, good. Bring that down to where we finished off there. Perfect. Now we'll just tuck in the bottom and we're home free. Tucks in really nicely on the bottom. I guess the gap's a little bit bigger down there. This is, you can see dirt at the edge here. This is the PPF that was there. I took lots of videos and stuff of this because I let the customer know, but just everyone on YouTube. There's a lot of critics on YouTube, so I like to point stuff out like that. But we have all the footage of all this stuff that's not gonna look perfect. Kind of sucks for me because I like my work to be better than that, but again, we can only work with what we have as far as a canvas goes. We gotta work with that. Good. Okay. Let's get in there. Smooth all that out. Get any extra film tucked in there. And we're in there. Like, if this car was red, this wouldn't be showing any red going around it. You can use heat here if you like. I don't find it's necessary just because it's a very tight area.